performing my final presentation today. I have a confession to make. Let me ask you one thing first. What made you study English, except for native speakers here? It's not fair, is it? So, why did you study English?
I want to speak English well.
Yes, and what about you, Level?
Actually, same me.
Yeah, there's many reasons for people to study English. Some people want to make foreign friends, and some people need a high score of the test, like IELTS or TOEIC or TOEFL, to get better job. And some people are just interested in English because it's second language in the world. But for me, it's totally different. You probably don't know my name. My name is John, and I used to be a hair designer for 10 years in Korea. And I quit the job 4 years ago. And now I'm planning on becoming an English instructor after CPILS. So, I divided my topic into the 4 parts. First one is who I am. Second one is what made me quit the job. Third one is why I started learning English. Final one is how English changed my life. Let me do first, number 1. When I was young, I was out of control. Yes, I was a troublemaker. I had conflict a lot with my parents, and I wasn't interested in any subject like history, mathematics, science, and English. What I was interested in was hairdressing. So here's a fun story. When I was 15, my friends and I wanted to dye our hair like yellow or brown. So we bought 6 bottles of beer. And then I poured the beer into the big bowl. And we put our head into shallow beer for 20 minutes, waiting our hair changed. So do you think it worked or not? Hope? No? Why is that? Harris?
It's a waste of beer.
Definitely it didn't work. Yeah, but these experiments couldn't stop my curiosity about hairdressing. So I decided to become a hair designer at the time. It was my first dream. But unfortunately, people think about the male hair designer at this generation. They are not as good as women. But it was really true. My high school was specialized for good kids about beauty, like hairdressing and makeup and nail art. And then my high school had a cooperation with big company, which had 60 employees as a hair shop. Yeah, 60 is quite a lot of employees. But as I mentioned before, men are not as good as women. So my skill was really terrible, and I was the lowest one. And at that time, I had 11 colleagues, but it was like scratched in my pride. So I decided to outcompete them. So all I did was just to practice and practice and practice again. When my colleagues practiced 5 or 10 times, I practiced 100 times, even same work. So finally I could outcompete them in 6 months. And I was the first one, and I was the youngest one who is in charge managing their product. And a few years later, I had a good career, and I could meet someone who I had a crush on. And we were in relationship, and we got married. First of a few months, we were so happy. I was satisfied with that. But one day, there's one thing I didn't know about her. Her parents were really rich. So one day, I had a phone call from her parents, and she told me, "Why don't you have on your business?" But I refused it politely because I was satisfied with already, and the most important thing is my parents were poor. They couldn't afford to pay for it. But after a week, she called me again and just announced, "We have bought already buildings for your business. Just do it right now. You have no choice." Literally, I had no choice. At the time, I was 22. I was still too young to manage our own business. But I had no choice. I did my best without day off. And wife had a day off, but I had no day off. And I was like a machine, making money and then paying it back to her parents. One day, bad thing happened to me. My last grandfather passed away, and I asked her to go to his funeral. But do people usually respond like what when they hear someone's death? Harris?
Sympathetic. Try to give you support.
Yeah, or say sorry. Yeah, but all she said to me was, "I don't want to go there because I have appointment tomorrow and I want to make money." At the time, I couldn't stand that situation, and I was feeling like, who am I living with, or why am I here, and who did I get married to? So I decided to divorce. Sorry. Yeah, she become a materialistic. So I decided to divorce. But worst thing is, bad thing happened to me again at the same time. I hired my friend who went to beauty academy together. We were like best friends, but he betrayed me because of money again. So at the time, I lost two person who I really loved. So it was hardest time in my life. So I felt lost away. I lost everything I had before. So people usually, when they have hard time, people try to look for something to get over it or to move on. But I had a trauma about people. Like I was afraid of meeting new people and making new friends and being in relationship with someone. So at the time, the key to get over it was the English for me. So that is why I started learning English. It's totally different. But as you know already, I never studied English before. So when I went to academy, I had an interview. The question was like this: why did you choose our academy? But I really wanted to say I never studied English before, and I can't read, I can't speak, or I can't write anything. But I said only 3 words: I nothing English. But look at me now, I can speak English. So I really studied hard. I studied 16 hours a day for 8 months in Korea. And after 8 months, I could speak English as much as I want. So I really wanted to dig English deeper than before. So I decided to go to Australia. But I needed to be brave because I had still trauma about people. But I did it. So I went to Australia. That is part 4, how English changed my life. I could make many friends. I could have fun with foreigners because I could speak English. And then my trauma was disappeared slowly. So I could escape from trauma. And there's 2 things more English changed my life. English gave me second life, and English gave me second dream to be an English instructor. So there's two messages I would like to deliver to you today. One thing is don't be afraid of challenge. This is me. Yes, I went skydiving in Australia. It was really awesome, unexplainable. And next one is don't be a frog in a well. I really like to say anyone can be anything. Yeah, I used to be a hair designer, but now I'm dreaming to be an English instructor. Thank you very much.